really like the way that I deal with ratios and unit changes on the SAT because I think it's so, it really just is robotic, and that's a good thing. So when I look at this question, I instantly see like, oh, they're trying to mess with me here. There's a switch from seconds to minutes, and I could try to deal with that right away. But I don't care because I know that I can fix it later. Because what I really want to do with this question is it's about ratio. So I can turn whatever information I'm given into some sort of rate and then just blindly put that into a fraction. So for the first piece is really easy. So 25 meters in 13.7 seconds, I can just write that as a fraction. 25 meters in 13.7 seconds. And then with the question they're saying, okay, if he walks at the same rate, which of the following is closest to the distance he will walk in 4 minutes? So I could easily turn that into seconds, but I'm just going to allow myself to make the mistake and say, okay, let's put 4 minutes on the bottom of this fraction. And so we're trying to find how many meters he's walking in 4 minutes. And so I'm kind of like purposely doing it wrong because I know that I can fix it at this stage. And I have the basics of my setup ready to go. So showing your work is really important for ratios and units questions because the units matter. And so the units are what the work is. It tells me what I'm doing, what I need to do, and when I've done enough. So let me show you what I mean. For the tops of these equations, or these fractions, the meters are the same. And so that's the thing, is the whole point of a ratio is we're scaling a rate. And so the rate should be consistent. So meters on top, good. But on the bottom, we got a problem, right? It's seconds and then minutes. These are different. And so now that tells my brain, oh, you got to fix one of them. And so I use additional fractions to fix it because I can make new rates. So in this case, I say, okay, well, I don't want minutes, I want seconds. So I need a rate that converts minutes into seconds. And this time I'm going to use the properties of reducing fractions to help me. I'm going to say, okay, well, I know that 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds. That's a rate. And what that allows me to do is to say, okay, on the right side of the equation, I now have minutes on the top of the fraction and minutes on the bottom, so they can cancel out. Right? That's how fractions get reduced, is we cross out numbers that are on the top and the bottom. In this case, not a number, it's a unit, it's a word, but it still functions the same way. But now, since those are gone, the only thing left over on this side is seconds, and that matches with the seconds that are on the bottom of the other equation. So there's consistency, and so the work has now told me you've done a good setup. You've multiplied the right things, everything is in its place, now you can actually do the arithmetic. And so the last step is just to multiply these fractions like normal. So 25 over 13.7, that's going to stay the same. X times 1 is X. 4 times 60 is 240. And so for those of you who may have done this by converting those minutes into seconds originally, like you could have just done that from the start. But the point is, when these things get harder, when there are more conversions, more steps, this system is still going to work, and it's going to work better because you won't lose track of anything. You'll know you're multiplying the right stuff and dividing the right stuff. And here's where the calculator takes over. I would just say, okay, I want to get X by itself. Let's multiply both sides by 240, and that allows me to cancel out, same way it did before, right? So that gets me X by itself, and 240 times 25 is 6,000, and 6,000 divided by 13.7 is 437.956, and that's pretty close to B. And it's obviously a little off, but they said, which is closest, and so it's the closest. There's no other choice that's closer, so there you go. But hopefully this helped. This is a relatively easy ratio question. It's a relatively easy conversion from units, but it will get harder, and you really want to have a good process for the easy questions so that when it does get harder, you're not thrown off your game. You still have a reliable process that's going to correctly get you the answer.